The President of the United States of America will have a large delegation at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. The gathering, the annual gathering will bring together world leaders in business. For more on this, we're joined by Dr Iraj Abedian, founder at least, and Chief Executive of Pan-African Investment and Research Services. Good evening. How important is this gathering this time around?
Look, the World Economic Forum has positioned itself as an important congregation of corporate and political leaders. Over time, it has become less and less important, and more specifically with the advent of Trump and the way in which Trump has particularly disrupted the world order and some of the holy cows of economic policy. The World Economic Forum is now becoming less and less effective in terms of shaping global economic direction. And of course, there are other issues that we can discuss. But this year particularly is going to be dominated by the Trumpian order or disorder.
Now, the forum comes at a time where the United States trade tariffs have affected many countries. Are we likely to see tariffs dominating the talks?
I think tariff is definitely is going to be a dominant issue because for almost all economies globally, for many governments, predominantly in the free economic relationship, what Mr. Trump has done, or President Trump has introduced, the weaponization of trade, weaponization of tariffs, is like a direct attack on the economic fundamentals that we have grown over the past almost 100 years, with the help of which we have managed to globally coordinate policies. Yes, there has been contestation, but there never have been confrontation to the extent that we have seen over the past 12 months. Yes, the weaponization of trade and tariffs by the United States is going to be an issue, but also, quite frankly, the risk that it has already and will continue to inject into the global geopolitics and economic and investment world if it continues the way it has done. And if other countries get on the act, you're going to have a very well-tested and tried, what economists call it, a beggar than neighbor, which is a lose-lose situation for many, many countries. And that, of course, will have direct impact on the geopolitical tensions, which is another risk which we see popping up all over the place.
South African President Cyril Ramaphosa will not be attending Davos. What could have led to the president missing this gathering, and is that a wise decision?
Look, South Africa is geopolitically find itself in a fairly fragile situation. The background to it we all know, with Mr. Trump dominating, or America dominating the forum this year. President Trump would have had difficulty shining at the place, which is unfortunate because South Africa has made some progress in economic terms over the past 12 months or so. By that, I mean getting itself delisted from the grey listing or exiting grey listing on the European side, not being part of the high-risk countries, and for the first time in 16 years, having a very small but nonetheless positive sovereign risk upgrade. All of these are positive developments. One would have liked South Africa to profile it at the World Economic Forum to attract more investment. Of course, there are some real issues of poor economic policy, poor governance, all of which corruption, ineffective governance, completely chaotic local government, these would have been indefensible. So I think all in all, President Ramaphosa is doing well, but not attending because he would have to defend the indefensible.
What should Team South Africa's focus be, and what should their message be conveyed to the delegates at Davos?
It's difficult. As I mentioned, they could focus on the positive. We have had the credit upgrade, the sovereign risk credit upgrade. We've been delisted from gray listing, and we are showing a little bit more growth. But quite frankly, it's not a sellable proposition. We still got growth at below 1%, clearly below our population growth, clearly insufficient. We have a fiscally stressed situation, debt, and very importantly, rising inefficiency and ineffectiveness of local government, where the majority of our population, possibly 70% of our population lives, and these metropoles and cities are either bankrupt, the majority of them, with the exception of a few, and that's not a good news for any modern economy. Modern economies require highly effective, highly efficient, and globally competitive urban infrastructure, internet connectivity, etc., all of which South Africa lacks at the moment. So South Africa at the moment is a difficult global pitch, as investors would have it.
And what should Davos be focusing on at this gathering as a kind of holistic picture?
Yeah, as a holistic, I think the Davos, unlike in the past that Davos was ruling and setting the norms, this year it's going to become more of a talk show about listening to different constituencies, different regions of the globe, and focusing on this growing risk of income disparity. Income disparity is a big issue. Over the past few years, it has been raised by World Economic Forum, but really not discussed. The rapid rich getting richer, the rapid pace of rich getting richer, the poor staying behind, with the rise of AI, which your report earlier on alluded to, artificial intelligence and the pace at which is really heading forward in many economies, leaving many societies behind, and if not coordinated and checked, we're going to have a global disparity like never before, which is conducive to inevitable instability, more impoverishment, and more disruption in the socio-political systems.